When I was in high school, there was a young lady who was in class with us. Now, our graduating class wasn't that big, but I remember, as smart as she was, the entire year, she seemed to break down. It was almost like she was having daily anxiety attacks, or panic attacks. And that's one of those symptoms and things you think, what can I do to help? Like, what is going on? And you assume that it was home life or something that was completely out of whack for her. What we came to find out late in the year from her younger sister, actually, was that as the year progressed and we got closer to graduating, she was not coping well. The thought of going to college and being away from her family on her own, having to make her own decisions, do her own laundry, cook her own food, pay her own bills, was overwhelming for her. Moving away from home was absolutely overwhelming. And even the thought of going to school in town, in state, or maybe even she could stay at home, just the comfort that school, in elementary, middle school, high school, it's mandatory. College is not mandatory. She had an abject fear of the unknown, and it terrified her to the fact where she almost shut down completely. Don't let the fear of the unknown terrorize you. Hello, Governor. This is Rekkai Steed, Nuke from the Ville. We had a fantastic penultimate episode, season 14, episode 7 of Doctor Who, called The Legend of Ruby Sunday. The TARDIS somehow flies into the Avengers Tower. Unit's tower now. And the Doctor is making his rounds, talking to all the people in Unit, introducing Ruby to everyone. And he is on the hunt for a few things. So we find out that the older lady who has appeared in every episode, her name is Susan Triad. And then Susan Triad is like this world's Elon Musk, I guess. Probably the same amount of evil. I don't know. Also, the other thing that the Doctor wants Unit to do is find out who the other mystery woman is, which is Ruby's mother. So we go back to the Christmas episode, the church at Ruby Road, where we find out who is the cloaked woman who dropped Ruby off on the church steps. They have a thing downstairs called a time window where they can use the technology to look back at time. But that goes incredibly wrong. And then there's some other factors that happen. So in trying to figure out Susan Triad, what is her deal, the Doctor goes to meet with Mel, and they go to see Susan Triad. Susan Triad says that she's been having these horrible dreams, nightmares, and things where she doesn't remember what's going on. But the Doctor keys in on it and sees that a lot of what she remembers is the adventures he's been on. And he's like, I don't understand, how has she been there at every turn? Meanwhile, the TARDIS is going nuts back at Unit, and we come to find out that these two things are connected. And we have the reveal, from what I understand, is a villain from classic Who, particularly an episode called The Pyramids of Mars, called Sutekh, the god of death. And even though I didn't see it, I don't think the Doctor cried this episode, so that's a plus. But we did see the fear there, because they are dealing with the Doctor in all of his recollection of all his years of being a Doctor. Sutekh was a hard one from classic Who, and I think it's been about 50 years of canon since we dealt with Sutekh or so. And the doctor, just you can see the fear in the doctor's eyes of when he dealt with the maestro. So this is a whole level or many above that. So this is a problem. And the finale should be fantastic. Fear of the unknown, though, is a real thing. We have it all the time. People have it in relationships. People have it on the jobs. You hear the saying all the time and you deal with it, the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And that's, if you have a bad boss at work and there's a way to get rid of your boss or something like that, you may have a fear of the new boss may be worse. You have that fear in relationships. Some people just don't want to be alone. And they will take bad circumstances, bad spouses, bad partners, because the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being alone, the fear of that you haven't fixed whatever it is in yourself that attracts these horrible damn people to you. So even if you get rid of this asshole, chances are, because you haven't put in the work to fix you, the next asshole you get with may be even worse. I don't want this to be long-winded, and I really want you to key in on and focus on the whole world is full of unknowns, and I know within your sphere you try to control what you can control. You are the master of your fate. You decide, you determine what valleys, what peaks, what paths your life goes down. And the unknown is inevitable. And it's really, how do you approach it? What is your mindset? Is it growth or set? If you have a fixed mindset, you can't see the possibilities. And you'll have a pessimistic approach. If you have a growth mindset, the opportunities are endless. And you have a very optimistic approach. It's not hard to shift from one to the other. But sometimes it's absolutely easy to fall prey to groupthink. And usually it's the shift from optimistic to pessimistic. You surround yourself with a bunch of negative people, that bleeds into you. If you surround yourself with positive people, that could bleed into you. It's usually not that way. You have to seek out optimism, positivity, because there's a lot of negativity in the world. And that is actually more known than it is unknown. I want to leave you with a quote by H.P. Lovecraft. Yes, he's an author and a kook, but he has a great quote, and it's very poignant for this particular episode. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the unknown. You may not know what path your life is going to take, but you can put in the work to know as much as possible and let the chips fall where they may. This is Rekkai Steed, new from the Ville. Make sure you check the link in the description to watch our reaction to this episode. And like, comment, share. And if you haven't subscribed yet, stop playing. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be on point and ready for whenever I drop the next deep dive. It's all about this. But it has to be about this.